and good afternoon, everyone. Um, so today's topic that I wanted to talk about that's been on my mind is actually, I talk so much about your relationship with yourself being the most important, and it is so incredibly important. Um, However, there is one other relationship which I actually think is the most important and sets the precedence for your relationship with yourself. And that is your relationship with source energy or the universe or God or spirit, whatever you want to call it. That energy that is bigger than us. And some people don't necessarily believe that there is something that is bigger than us. Maybe we all just sort of happened here. Um, However, I do have a sense that there has been guidance in my life, which hasn't necessarily just come from my understanding and knowing of different things, but it's certainly been a source of a lot of growth and protection, and a lot of really big things have come about because of my relationship with Source. And I'm really grateful. I was raised in an organized religion. I decided to leave that religion when I was 29, which was hands down the most difficult decision of my life. However, what that being raised in that religion taught me was how to tap into the way that God or source energy communicates with me. And that, in the end, was what I based. It was a huge decision of faith to leave that religion. But that is actually what I leaned on. I leaned on that relationship with source energy in that process. It was such a difficult thing to let go of these old beliefs, but at the same time, I also had a knowing that everything would be okay, even though I didn't know exactly what it would look like. I knew that so long as my relationship with Source was close and really just following that closeness, the connection, and different decisions like separated a little bit more and disconnected me from Source, and I really just followed that closeness and that connection. And that is what I have followed through my life, and I'm so grateful for it. It's my most treasured gift, I think. So basically what it does is when you have this relationship with yourself, you have a really limited view of how it is that you are perceived, or your perception is very different to everyone else's relationship with you and how they perceive you. And it's the same with Source. Source sees you in a certain way, and it actually, to tap into Source and to receive input and inspiration from Source about yourself, and what it is that you need to do and all of that sort of thing, to draw on that information is to take a step back and see yourself from a perspective of something that is higher, something that loves you more than you love yourself. It's an unconditional love and wants the best and all of that. So when we can tap into that and we can come from a place of surrender, then we start to allow ourselves the possibility of things that we might not have even seen, which are going to be for a higher, greater good for ourselves and for other people. So yeah, basically, how do you tap into this source energy? How do you tap into inspiration or God or spirit? First off, it becomes a practice. You need to kind of practice and learn the way that source communicates with you. Now, a really easy one is a gut feeling. So that can be down in your sacral chakra. So if you kind of think about, the butterflies in your stomach, or you can feel drawn towards something and you kind of don't understand why, or you might hear a type of a voice, like a still small voice is how it's been described before. Or it could be that you kind of see different visions, you see things kind of happening in a certain way, you feel certain energies. So these are all different ways that source can communicate with you. And you want to really learn about those communications. The other thing, so number 2 would be there's a difference between ego or anxiety and all of that sort of thing and source energy, inspiration, and that sort of thing. So the difference is ego is usually frantic, it's anxious, it's flighty, it's like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Whereas source, inspiration, there's a calmness to it. Sometimes you might have the feeling to hurry up and do something, but there'll be an underlying calm about it. So it's less airy and flighty, and it's more grounded and settled. So those are two things to kind of be a little bit aware of. The third thing would be to trust. If you're not sure, then just trust that you will make the right decision. Trust if it's, like when I received the inspiration to leave the church, that was terrifying to me, but I knew that I had to lean into trusting source. And I mean, I think everyone who I know would attest that I am so much more of who I am because I leaned into that experience, even though it was difficult, even though it was scary, even though it hurt some people, it was something that I knew that I needed to do. And so I had to trust the universe. I had to trust myself that everything would work out for the better, even though I couldn't necessarily see that. So I hope that this lands for whoever needed it today. Make good choices. And I just have so much love and gratitude for all the experiences of life, and especially I am so grateful for being taught at a young age how to understand the language of source energy and the universe and God, and how that they communicate with me. Anyway, much love. Have an awesome afternoon.